Alright guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to pay a little tribute to Rick Derringer, great guitar player who just passed away Memorial Day 2025. This was at the age of 77. Rick Derringer was a great player, and he played with a bunch of folks, including Johnny Winter and Edgar Winter, and even played with Barbra Streisand, I believe, and Weird Al Yankovic. He did some stuff with him, and I wanted to do this because when I was a teenager, I was obviously, I grew up in the late 80s as a teenager, and was into all the 80s metal stuff, but I would read the interviews with players who I wanted, to try to learn some stuff from, and they would always mention players like Johnny Winter and some of the old blues guys, and Johnny had an album called Johnny Winter End. It was a live album, and they had the song called Rock and Roll Hoochie Koo on it. And something about that just grabbed me right away, and I tried to learn how to play it back then when I was 17 or 18, and couldn't figure it out, couldn't play it. My chops weren't developed enough to play that or really understand totally what was going on with a lot of the things. But I love that song, and it stuck with me all these years, and I always thought it was a great example of hard rock that kind of almost started to be like, hard rock, some of the hard rock of the 80s, in terms of just the power of it and the force of it. And so I wanted to pay a little tribute to Rick Derringer here. He was part of my education as a young metalhead in the late 80s, and I'm sure that he was much more than that to many other players and musicians and fans that knew his music better than I do. I actually had a blast learning this song for the first time, and I'm glad I did, and it's going to be fun to show you guys this. It's not the 80s metal that you're used to, but you can see where some of those guys in the 80s got their chops from listening to this awesome 70s hard rock, bluesy hard rock stuff. So we're going to take a look at this in just a sec. Before we do, if you're looking for the tab and the Guitar Pro for this, as well as a backing track, I have got that available over at my Patreon page. You can check that out in the link down below, or you'll see it scrolling across the screen there. And then also I've got a free gift for you guys called 5 blistering licks to light up your fretboard. Make sure and check that as well as the free download in the links below. Alright, let's get to it. Key of A, standard tuning. What I'm going to do is show you kind of what's on the album version of this, and then maybe we'll talk about a couple of live ways that Rick would play this. But on the album, it starts out like this. It's an F5 power chord, and then it's 5 and 5 on the A and D, and then 3 and 3 on the A and D. Then go to a G5 power chord, play that twice, and then go up to 7 and 7 on the A and D, and then 5 and 5 A and D. And then the riff that we're going to keep coming back to this is it's an A power chord twice, and then we're going to go 3-4 on the A string, 2nd fret on the D string, back to 4 on the A, and then this. All right, and so that's 5 and 5 on the D and G, open A. 2 and 2 on the D and G, open A. Open D and G, and then 2 and 2 on the D and G. So back to an A. We're going to keep coming back to that riff. So here's the first part of the intro. Okay, a little slower. And then to end the intro, we do this. Twice on an F5, open A, second fret A, and then C5 power chord, G5 power chord, into an A5 power chord at the 5th fret, and then slide that off. And then we're going to get into these little muted scrapes, or I call them chicka-chickas. So after you do this, slide off the A. There's the little chicka-chickas. And then there's this. It's actually an A to a G and then open E. You can play it with the open A. And then like that. So you'd have okay, now right here is where these cool little sliding octaves come in. For the life of me, I couldn't figure that out when I was a kid. Didn't make sense to my 80s metal head back then. But you hear all kinds of you hear that in all kinds of the 80s music. Listen to a band like LA Guns, Tracy Guns, definitely had a lot of that 70s influence. Guns N' Roses, another one. So many other bands like that where there's definitely some of this in there. I just wasn't hip to it yet. So it's an open E, and then it's 4th fret on the A, 6th fret on the D, on the G, sorry, A and G strings, and then you slide it up to the 5th fret and 7th fret on the A and the G, and then hit the low E again. So there are many layers on this. If you listen to it on the recording or even live, you'll hear 2 or 3 guitar players, and one guitar player is playing a higher octave of this. And the bass player is going, let's see, the bass player is hitting the he's hitting that. So you got the octaves. And by the way, that's 11D, 14 on the B, and then 12D, 15 B. Between all that together, it's really full sounding. And that takes us up to the verse. So on the verse we have this. Alright, so let's take a look at that. It's in kind of an A power chord. You're hearing some of that, kind of those little scratches in there. It's very rhythmic. That's an important part of the sound. You can try doing all downstrokes here. I think I did a little bit of mixing it up with some of the pick strokes. In any case, it's kind of got a little bit of a swing to it, so you want to make sure you're locking in with the groove on this one. So it's second fret, so it's open A, and that's just second fret on the G and the D string there. Open A, and then fifth fret on the G and the D and G, I should say, and then seventh fret on the D and G, and that A string's open. So that's like going from a C, but we're just playing the top part of it. Then open A, twice on 7 on the D, 5 on the D, right down to the blues scale, 7, 6, 5 on the A string, 3 on the A, and then 7 on the D. Alright. And then what we do is play that again. And this time we go same exact lick, but instead of going up, we come down to 5th fret on the low E. So it's, now these are all picked, should be all picked. They sound better when they're picked. That's another thing I had trouble with as a kid trying to learn this. Okay. On the recording, you can hear an octave. Same lick, just up an octave. Here I'm at the 14th fret. So twice on 14, 12, and then 14, 13, 12, 10. Back into 14 on the G string, and then second time it's 12 on the A string. And notice every time you hit that C note, whether it's the higher one or the lower one, you give it a little pull there. It's like a little, I call it a blues bend, but it's probably less than a quarter step. It's just Cinderella's another band that just came to mind that does all this kind of 70s hard rock bluesy stuff with the octaves and different things. There's tons more, but those are the ones that come right to mind. So so there you go. That's what the verse is. So let me play the whole verse. So. Now we're into the chorus. Hopefully you see how this all fits together now. The chorus will just be, we're going to hit this F5 twice, and then we're going to do some chicka chickas. Down, up, and go up to a G5 and an A5 with that riff that we've done before. Now this time we're going to go, and we've done that before as well. Notice I'm doing a little bit of a chica there, just like a little karate chop. And that's that little move, followed by, and we're back to the first one. And then it just starts over, and the whole thing kind of loops around, and it's got a pretty cool guitar solo, honestly. But I think the best stuff is the rhythm guitar on this song. So that's what we just covered. Hope you enjoyed this. A little foray into some early 70s blues rock by Rick Derringer. And I would definitely encourage you to check out the album version and that live version on Johnny Winter, and there's a lot of great guitar playing on there, and excuse me, and so hopefully you'll get something out of this, and we pay tribute to Rick here today with this, and hope you guys enjoy it. Make sure and grab the tab over at Patreon and the Guitar Pro and the backing track. And I'll see you next time. Rock on.
Thank you.